help us fit in, my parents visited my second grade class in full kurta pajama and sari. I went to a small school, 20 mostly white kids per grade, and my parents brought Indian sweets, barfi, made out of milk and sugar. Just milk and sugar, my father assured us. And the kids thought he was saying barf and wrinkled their noses as they tried my childhood favorite sweet. The joke's on them, though, because they really liked it. Their prejudice might have made them miss something truly delicious. Growing up, I learned what it meant to feel lonely. No matter how clever, funny, or kind I was, I could expect to be rejected. I was annoying and weird. And in time, I learned words to describe myself that weren't as hurtful as those I heard from my peers. Anne of Green Gables was imaginative. I could be that. Bridget Jones was quirky. I could be that. Harriet the Spy was eccentric. That could be me. Imaginative, eccentric, quirky. Those were all pretty fun words for outcasts. I read books about other weird girls, and I felt safe in those imaginary worlds with those weird white girls. They were outcasts because they were abandoned or because they were orphans. But I wasn't abandoned. I was just brown. When I went to India and saw the otherworldly mess it was, I felt so at home in it. The sprawling crowds of staring black and brown faces reflected my own. The strong smells of cumin and garlic mingling with the smell of shit and poverty. The skinny, starving boys yelling, "Auntie, Didi! Auntie, Didi!" with bright, chipper smiles as they tried to sell us newspapers and happy souvenirs. There was no pretense here. You didn't act like you didn't want what you wanted. You could be brown and beautiful and flawed all at the same time. It took me years to understand that my weirdness and eccentricity and rejection were not unique to me. They were part of something I would come to understand as the immigrant experience. We grew up having learned how to stick out. I got bigger, and so did my personality. When I got to middle school, of course I was thirsty. I was Ron to my Hermione, a Gilbert to my Anne of Green Gables, a Helga to my Arnold. The boys didn't like me. The first person who made me feel good about my body was a girl named Jackie I met in high school. She was Nicaraguan American, and we had the same brown skin and the same hazel eyes. But she had sex with boys, and I hadn't even heard of a boner before. Jackie told me, "You're not fat, you're thick." And she told her guy friends to look into my eyes. I blushed, not used to being seen. And they said my eyes were beautiful, and that was the first time that my body wasn't a mistake of nature, the physical manifestations of flaws that I had to make up for. Don't get me wrong, looks aren't everything. Even as a woman, looks aren't everything. They won't save you from the pain of being used, and no matter what you have going for you, there will always be people who try to reduce you. People will use you for your body even if you don't feel beautiful a day in your life. People won't always love you, mind, body, and soul. People almost never will. But it just kind of fucked me up because when I thought about a human, that human was white. And I was a great writer, but I couldn't write stories because I felt like I had to write stories about white girls, but I didn't even know what white folks ate for dinner. Like pasta, pizza, burritos, like it all just felt so inauthentic. But I didn't want to write about brown girls either because everyone would always assume I was writing about myself. And what would be so wrong with me writing about myself? It just kind of fucked me up because for the longest time I couldn't trust myself. I didn't believe people when they told me that they liked my body. Like, I have these really big boobs and I've always gotten a lot of attention for them. You probably noticed. Girls will be like, oh my god, I used to wish that I had huge boobs like you, but then I realized that it must be so annoying to just have them around all the time. They must get so heavy and like hurt your back. And I'm like, my back is fine, bitch. Guys will use them as an excuse to gawk at me or have full conversations with my chest. So I started doing research because I don't understand why people like breasts. Like, is it because it reminds them of their mothers? So naturally, I landed on one of the darkest corners of the human internet. The Reddit forum. The place where anonymity, memes, and puns coalesce to feed even the most shadowy of trolls. Think on me, young, impressionable, probably 20. Reading through these long threads of what kind of bodies were acceptable, how skinny was too skinny, and how fat was too fat. Never mind the fact that the person writing the comment is probably in the process of accidentally knocking over their Mountain Dew cup with their own titty. So much shit that made me feel so insecure. Like, I hate it when girls lie on their backs and their boobs just disappear. And I was like, holy shit, that's me. Over the years, I learned that I don't need to look for myself in all the stories that I read. I've learned to kind of think of myself as a heroine in my own novel. My experiences aren't anyone else's, but they do matter. I hate it when girls lie on their backs and their boobs just disappear. For some reason, this really resonated with me. I brought it up with my friends when we would compare chests. I was just getting over this high of learning that it was kind of cool that mine could sit up by themselves, but to my horror, they didn't do that when I was lying down. And I just kind of thought about it. I thought about all the people that I'd been with before, and the way that my breasts would just kind of sink into my chest, and the way those people would just keep picking them up and playing with them again, even when they went from dollops of whipped cream to slightly less aerated dollops of whipped cream. And in my experience, everybody just loves them. So get off my tits, Bonerman 745. And I thought about it because breasts have like this mythic power, right? Like it feels so good to touch them, it feels great to have them be touched. And they were also this sort of socially acceptable fat, right? People felt like they could comment on them like they were part of the furniture. And maybe that's true. Maybe boobs are just fat in a different place, and maybe to some people they could look really weird. Like to my face, they kind of look like they make a face. It's also empirically true that someone loves this fat. And if that's true, then why is it so hard for me to believe that they could love this fat, and this fat, and that other fat too? And if that's true, then could it be that all this beauty that I see in shampoo commercials and magazines and in porn is just a social construct, and that when people say that they love my butt and they love my boobs, they actually love it? But then also, I have to think about it like, I look like an old man in the shower. Like, that's empirically true too. But maybe that's okay, because the people who love my body love me, and they want to, like, fuck my personality and have feelings. And that's when I'm like, oh shit, wait, you're right. People have always loved each other beyond stupid gender characteristics like muscular arms and breasts and thighs. People even love people who literally live in jail, whose bodies they don't even get to interact with. Anyway, that's why the patriarchy is evil, and being fat-phobic is dumb, and love cannot be contained by a physical vessel. QED.